Hello everyone, and welcome to Chapter 7 of Hospitality Marketing, Developing New Products and Services. I think this is where the course starts to actually get a little bit more interesting, a little bit more about the marketing that you're familiar with. And this week we're going to be looking at developing new products. All companies evolve, all companies change. Every once in a while you'll see on TV. I love these shows where they go into different businesses, and Grandpa started it, and then Dad ran it, and now the son is running it, and they'll say, yeah, we haven't changed anything, and it's 75 years, and we're still going strong. It's very rare that these things happen these days. Look at the hospitality industry in general. When I was younger, we would walk up to McDonald's and stand at the window on the outside because there was no inside seating, there was no inside counter. You stood at the outside. There was no drive-through at the time. The technology really didn't exist. You'd stand at the window and you'd watch a guy in a paper hat right in front of you grill hamburgers on a flat top. McDonald's served hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, sodas, and milkshakes. And that was basically it. And I'll tell you what, it was pretty good food. Would they survive with that concept today? I don't know. Most people would say no, the competition would eat them alive. The thing is, if they were still doing just that small menu and specializing in what they did, I don't know. We'll never know the answer to that. But basically, companies are going to keep growing and growing. Think about, when we talk about fast food, think about all the different new sandwiches the fast food restaurants have put out in the last couple of years. They're always putting out something new to attract a new crowd, to keep their current customer base happy and interested. I just saw today, as a matter of fact, Burger King has a special Halloween burger that's coming out with a black bun. I believe it's flavored with A1 sauce. While I'm not a huge fan of fast food, will I get a black bun Whopper? Probably so, just so I can take a picture of it. And who knows, it may turn out to be really good. But these companies are always coming out with something new. I always believe that without chaos, and change, you can't really grow. So I think that's a great thing. So, how do the companies do it? There's a lot of different ways. Obviously, coming up with brand new products, changing products that you currently have, doing partnerships and alliances. I think partnerships are a great idea. And we see those a lot in the hospitality business and in the food business in general today. And just looking at one of my favorite snacks, I love Cheetos and I love Tabasco. And so I was thrilled when Cheez-Its started making a Tabasco flavored Cheez-It. They put the little Tabasco bottle right there on the box of the Cheez-Its. And it's great because you might not have been a fan of Cheez-Its before. You thought they were bland. Well, now they've got some Tabasco flavor in them. And you might have been a huge fan of Tabasco, but never really had thought, Cheez-Its were a snack for you. But now that there's Tabasco flavoring in there, so I think that's a great way to develop basically new customers without doing a lot of brand new development, a lot of cost. Another thing that I've just become relatively familiar with is companies are expanding their product and service mix basically to their competitors. Currently where I'm working, we're looking at a new purchasing group. And if you've had purchasing, we talked about purchasing groups. We go together in a group basically to get purchasing power. Because the more people that are buying one product, the less expensive it'll be. Well, along with this purchasing group comes a few other things. They have software for menu development, nutrition, productivity, costing, shopping list, production sheets. I mean, it's amazing what all this comes with. So the group I work with, we're going to sign up for this, as well as all these other different groups, and a small amount of the money, we'll pay every month to this service that's providing the whole buying group structure and all this. What's interesting about that is the buying group and all of this software and all this equipment is actually owned by Compass Group. Now, Compass Group is a contract food service company. They tend to go into schools, hospitals, prisons, different commercial organizations, and take over their food service operation. So basically, they are which we are self-op, we operate our own facility. Compass is our biggest enemy. They are the people that will come in one day and try to take our business away from us and take our jobs and do our job for us. We hope that never happens, of course, but what's interesting is now we are basically going to be partners with a company that would like to get rid of us and take over for us. I'm not sure how smart we are sometimes for doing this, but on their side it's brilliant, because it's like, if I can't beat you, well, I'm still going to dip into your wallet anyway, even if I can't take the whole thing over. So anyway, that's another way that you can start an alliance and start working with other companies to expand your product base out there. Now, there are a couple types of product development. You've got innovation and follow the leader. Innovation is when we come up with new things on our own, and follow the leader, basically somebody else has done something, we're going to follow along with it. Which one do you think is more costly, and which one do you think is more cost effective? Typically, when we're going to be an innovator, we're going to do research, we're going to do sampling, test marketing, all those things we talked about in the information chapter, to get the data to make sure what we're going to do is going to work. If we follow the leader, we can get data and background from someone who's done it ahead of us. The problem with follow the leader is we may want to follow another company. They put out, XYZ company has put out a new burger. And it's big and it's relatively inexpensive. We don't know all the parameters. They might have a special purchase agreement where they're buying beef cheaper. They may be partnering with another company to share expenses. When you try to just do what somebody else has done, it doesn't always work well, because they may have knowledge that you don't have or data that you don't have. So, but not everybody can afford to be an innovator. So when we're planning for new products, there's a couple of different strategies we can use. The first is a defensive strategy when we're coming out with a product. And a defensive strategy is one where we're going to counter another product that is out there. Company's got a product, we've got this product. A defensive strategy for us might be, let's lower our price a little bit. Let's change our packaging. Let's make it easier for our distributors to get that product out. Things that we're going to do without major changes until we get more information and can combat our competitors. That's a defensive strategy. Next one, an imitative strategy. Well, they're doing a 99-cent burger, so we're going to do a 99-cent burger. And basically, we're just going to kind of do the follow the leader. Exactly. Next is a second but better strategy. Well, yeah, they've got a 99-cent burger, but we're going to do a 98-cent burger and give them some fries. So basically the one-upmanship, making yours just a little bit better. And next, a responsive strategy that responds to the demands of the customers. If you go all the way back to the very beginning, what we said marketing was. Now, marketing is basically about finding a way to give the customers what they want, so they come to you, so you don't have to do all of the other things that would normally attract business. They just come to you because you satisfy their needs. And so when you're planning for new products, finding out what those customers want is a great thing. I'm sure you've heard backed by popular demand. I think sometimes they take things away just so they can give them back to you and use that as a marketing tool. So those are some of the different plans that people have for new products. Then we look at different strategies, the proactive strategies, or these things are in the first section where we're kind of responding to somebody that's already taken the lead. We also have some proactive strategies. And the first is having a good research and development team or program. I originally grew up around Indianapolis, and back in the day, Eli Lilly, the drug manufacturer, would spend between $1 and $1.5 million a day on research and development. Why did they do that? They were always looking for the next big something. A drug that they could put out and have proprietary branding on is worth billions. And so to them, it was worth spending that much money a day in people and equipment and supplies to try to come up with that next big drug. Then marketing. Once again, looking outside to see what our customers are asking, actively going out and trying to get that data. Entrepreneurial strategy, our internal marketing. What do the people inside our company think? What would we like to see done? I think sometimes the very best information you can get about what you should do comes from those people in all the different ranks. Sometimes management forgets to look at, people all across the board and up and down to get their input, because they might see something that people higher up don't get. And then finally, mergers and acquisitions. A good example is that Pepsi used to own Taco Bell, they used to own KFC, but then they were sold to Yum Brands several years ago. So now Taco Bell, KFC, Pizza Hut, Long John Silver's, and others are all owned by the same company. And that's why you can go down the road and you can see an A&W root beer attached to a Long John Silver's, or a KFC which is attached to a Taco Bell. It's a great way to pick up new customers and expand your business without really doing a whole lot of research or work, just money. Organizing for new product planning, there's several steps that you're going to go through, and there's also a video on this in the text material for you to look at, which is a little bit more expansive than what we have in the text. But you can have a couple of different options here. Some companies will have new product committees, companies who sit around and brainstorm and throw out ideas. I think that's a great way to do it, because you get a lot of different people involved, you get ideas flowing, people can play off of people. Now, the problem with those is sometimes they're throwing out so many different ideas, they don't really have a lot of relevance to an issue you may want to solve. And plus, it's real easy to throw out ideas that would never in a million years meet your needs or be feasible from a monetary standpoint. But it does get different people involved from different parts of the company. You might have a new product department. Their job is to come up with new products or new services. It's nice to have a group like that, but I think when you have set groups, they tend to get stale. And it's nice to keep people actively creative when they're looking for new things for a company to do. Same thing, you might have product managers. A product manager, their job is to come up with new items. I think it's an awful lot of pressure for one person. And once again, I think it's very difficult for one person to be, the brainstorming genius. I'm a big fan of the group. And you might have a venture team, which is a little bit more precise than a larger a product committee. They've been given a task to look at more in detail. So I guess they're a little bit more detailed than what you would see in a committee. The new product development process, first thing is idea generation. Nothing starts without a new idea. And then you're going to look at product screening. Who's going to buy it? How much will they buy? What will they pay for it? Is there a competitor that we're going to have to deal with? Then concept testing. Then a whole lot of business side of it, the business analysis and test marketing. Can we make money at this the way we're doing it? And then finally, market introduction. How are we going to get it to the market? It amazes me on the whole concept testing part sometimes, and I'm sure you've done this before, is you try an item and it's terrible, and you think, how did anybody approve this item? We see that in food an awful lot. You know, there's food items that come out there, and who thought this was a good idea? Sometimes I think companies get really bad data, and a lot of times these things don't stay on the market very long. I remember when I was a kid, and you'll laugh about this, but we had a product called Space Food Sticks. Space Food Sticks. And yeah, it was a long stick. Come to think of it, it looked just like a pepperoni that we feed the dogs. It was a long, dark stick. There was a chocolate flavor, a caramel flavor, and it was like Nabisco or one of those. But they were trying to capitalize on all the astronaut brouhaha. You know, it was a big time in the 60s. We were sending people into the, to the moon and into space, and the astronauts were eating these protein-packed, energy-packed flavor sticks. And so companies started selling them out in public. The thing is, they were terrible. Just because an astronaut was eating it doesn't mean you should eat it too. I do believe they're still available from a little company in Australia. One day I plan to buy some more of those. But there's been some amazing flubs out there, with new products. The last part of this section is on branding. And I'm sure you all know what a brand is. Basically, it's a name or a logo that defines your company or your product. It's your brand. And a brand is so crucially important for companies out there for a couple of different ways. One, it could be who you are. And a brand is really great when it says what you do. Take the example of Burger King. You pretty much know when you go to a Burger King, that brand says burger in it. Comfort Inn is another one. It's saying that if you come stay in our hotel, it's going to be comfortable. So brand is very important. Now, a couple things about it. You're going to have a brand name, which is obviously the name that you're going to be known by. You might have a brand mark or a logo, if you will. The Nike swoosh, for example. The golden arches for McDonald's. If you have one of those, and also your brand name, you're going to want to trademark it. And a trademark is basically that thing that gives you the legal protection to use that name. That means others can't. Once again, every year or so, you see a company that starts, a burger thing, or McDonald's-y or something along those lines that is a play on McDonald's or Burger King, and usually they get sued and they always lose, because if you infringe upon the copyright of these established companies' names or logo. There was one interesting one a couple years ago where a company basically came out and it was like not Starbucks, and they used basically though the same logo with a knot in it, and they were actually very popular until I think they were sued by Starbucks. There's some things about branding is you should have a brand that's recognizable, easy to pronounce and name-wise, and also remember, what good is a brand if nobody can think of it, or if nobody can say it? Sometimes people, I think, try to be too cute with names and such, rather than coming and being straightforward with things that'll make them money. We always talked about describing the benefits or services. How about can be translated into a foreign language? What would Coca-Cola have been if it didn't go international? Coca-Cola is the #1 soft drink in the world, and at one point, the old kind of curved, swooshy bottle for Coca-Cola was the most recognizable brand in the world. Isn't it amazing that a bottle was the most recognizable brand in the world? Everybody knew what Coca-Cola was. And they did some brilliant marketing to play on that. That bottle is an iconic piece of not just food and soda history, but of consumerism. And the last thing is your logo, your should be, we talked about trademark, but should be distinctive and capable of legal protection. So in other words, if your company was XYZ Hospitality, it'd be pretty hard to trademark XYZ. I'm sure you could try it, but it's not something that stands out enough to justify legal protection. So that is Chapter 7, Developing New Products and Services, and that's just a brief overview. I think it's a really interesting topic. Go down to the grocery store sometime this week, look at the shelves and see all the new products that are out there by existing companies. All the different things that they're now, trying to get you to buy. I love going to Walmart and usually they have like the discount aisle where all these companies have tried new things and they didn't work out. It's really interesting to see what companies try. Anyway, have a good week and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.